Hello, beautiful creative souls. So it's time for our March tarot reading, and today I have the Unfolding Path tarot. I have the Muse tarot again, and my own personal deck that is themed around creativity and creative cycles. So I think we'll begin with the Unfolding Path tarot, and we'll pull out some we'll start by pulling out a theme for this month and see what we get. So we have Strength, which is lovely card, and the Page of Cups. That's beautiful. So the Strength and Page of Cups as our themes for this month. So the Page of Cups really is, I think, such a wonderful card about trusting our own intuition, also the way we fill our cups, and just that flow and the current that we find ourselves floating in. And then Strength is really about the ways in which we tame our own inner critic in a lot of ways, right? Strength is about really gaining some sort of control, or more than control, really understanding and in some ways befriending our ego, befriending the scared part of ourselves, befriending the inner critic. And I know you might be thinking, how do you befriend the inner critic? I mean, doesn't the inner critic always come up and criticize you? And yes, in a way it does. But really understanding the critic, understanding that voice, understanding the fear, and then finding ways to move forward despite the fear. That is such a big theme and a big part of living creatively. That is just such a big part of living, period. So really, how can you really think about the ways in which you can befriend the most scared parts of yourself, um, the little fears that arise, the worries and anxieties that arise. How do you deal with them? Do you let them overtake you and derail your creative work? Or do you really let your intuition and your inner wise self guide you on the next steps, the next path, how to move forward? That's just such a beautiful play with these two cards, is the watery, creative, intuitive part of yourself is really what helps you to tame the lion, to tame the ego, to soothe over some of those fears, is to really just tap into your intuition, your inner self, your wiser self, your higher self, however you'd like to think of it, and to just continue to take action, to let things flow, despite the fear, take the next step, put down the next mark, write the next line, move towards your goal, move towards your dream. And instead of fearing what might happen or worrying about the outcome or focusing on getting the right outcome, how about we concentrate on the path, on the journey, on where we're going, on how we're feeling as we walk this path, right? So a lot of our anxieties and our fears stem from thinking about the end point. Will we achieve our goal? Will this painting turn out well? Will this piece of writing make sense? But how do we feel along the way? How do we feel while we're laying down the paint? How do we feel when we show up for our writing? How do we feel when we show up for life? That's the real theme of this month. I think that's what we're being asked to focus in on. And I'm just going to pull from my personal deck. This is my deck that focuses on creativity, on the creative cycles, um, on how we approach it. And let's see what we get from here. Let me set these off to the side for now. And okay, this is a hand painted deck, so it doesn't really, fan out so well, but it still works. Let's see. Okay, I think that's the one that's calling to me. So we pull out notice and quickening, and again that just goes so beautifully with both of these cards, right? So let me just push these aside. Give me a sec. Okay, so the quickening is about the quickening of ideas, right? It's fast flow. It's things that were stuck that just suddenly seem to gain momentum and take off. It's the quickening life force. It's the sudden spurt of growth. That's really what the quickening is about. And then notice what led to the quickening. What were you doing around that time? Were there any practices that you think really supported the development and the growth of your ideas? Notice what's happening in your life, in your creative life. Notice your thoughts, notice your curiosities, your interests. What are you not liking anymore? What are you curious about? What curiosity has been fulfilled? Just really notice all of those things. Also notice the little naysaying voice, the voice of criticism, the voice that kind of holds you back, and then try and discern if that's really a voice from the overculture, if you're overthinking something, if it's really true, is what your inner critic telling you, or is what your ego self telling you. And the ego self, the way I define it really quickly, is the small I self, the one that's fearful and afraid. So there's a lot of parts to the ego, a lot of things that we could discuss about the ego, but that's perhaps a video for a different time. For now, when I'm using the word ego, I really mean fears, right? So what is it that you fear? What is it that you're afraid of? And just notice, where are those fears coming up? And they come up in a lot of different ways, in a lot of ways that if you do not stop to notice, you wouldn't even realize that it's actually a fear, right? So take the time to notice. Notice also the quickenings, notice your intuition, notice your curiosities, and then also remember all the times that you have overcome your inner critic. There have been times when you have overcome fears and done really brave things, and you can do them again. So really that is the theme of these cards, and I think I will wrap it up with a quick pull from the Muse Tarot. So let's see what we get here. And with the Muse Tarot, I really use this extremely intuitively, and just let the image kind of talk to me and see what comes up. What it could be that the muse, the creative muse, is telling us. Yeah, let's see what the muse has for us at this time. With this deck, I just like to let it fall open and pull it. Oh, and we get the Eight of Emotions. And in this deck, emotions are cups. But again, I don't really read it like a traditional tarot deck. So what I'm seeing in this is the Great Void, right? And we're walking towards that void. We're walking towards the unknown. And with so many of our creative projects, when we're starting, when we're beginning them, we really don't know where this journey will take us. We don't know where we will reach, how we will arrive. In some ways, it's a step into the unknown. It's a step into taking risks and playing and having fun and then seeing what happens. And this really points to that great unknown. But also with the great unknown is fear. There is fear mixed in with all of that. I think with all creative projects, especially when we're just beginning them, um, there is a lot of fear of the unknown, of how the project will shape us. Also, those little questions of, am I really the right person to do this? Can I do this? And this almost reminds me of of a desert and this great void opening up, and it's like a black hole. There's absolutely nothing that you can see there. There's no glimmers. There's nothing. But then this pink all around it for me, and there's this little bit of red, right? So that makes me think of the root chakra, and that's really the grounding and the stability and the trust, building that trust in ourselves. And then the pink is the heart chakra for me, and that's really about love and just letting love be your guide, just letting love lead the way. And in a lot of ways, that is what helps to tame the ego. That is what helps us to tame our fears. And that is also kind of what the Page of Cups is all about: trusting the love, trusting the things that we enjoy, trusting our intuition. And then from there comes the quickening. And then as we notice it, as our ideas quicken, they all start to take shape. So that's the reading for this month. I hope that it resonated with you. I'd love to hear what creative projects you're doing and how these readings are landing with you. So let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe. And I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.